Lucky Boys Podcast.
So,
You know what? In any time, I think this is, minus the COVID, being single now is probably the best time than any other time in human history.
why do you say that?
Traveling is more affordable than it's been. Technology, the world's smaller, so you can find and locate things better. You can use tools to communicate. You can use tools to navigate.
Yeah.
You can use tools to find out which spots are desirable.
It's made things a lot easier for sure.
Then let's go back 20 years. It's much more challenging.
Yeah. People had like maps back then. I don't know how they managed
And
that.
I remember my dad driving, pulling out a map. And I remember when I was going through Japan for the first time, we were going everywhere fearlessly because my friend had his phone and he would just Google map everything. And he was like, all right, well, we're going to make a left here. We're going to go right here. We'll be right there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, awesome. Can you imagine not having something like Google and having just to figure it out and nobody is able to communicate with you?
I can't imagine a world without that. I mean, if I don't have my phone for an hour, I start panicking.
That's right.
So
And that's what I'm saying. Like, imagine, like back then, you're just going around, just clueless, lost.
Yeah.
You're speaking English or you're trying to communicate in your native language to someone, and they're just like, huh?
Right.
And they're trying to help you, and you just can't communicate that effectively,
Right.
or even if you do get to the place you want to go, you can't even order the food. You just got to
Right.
point at shit. So it's like now you're in a time where, like, I remember going to a restaurant and I couldn't read what they want, but I was able to pull up the dishes on my
On the
phone, and I was like, I want this, and I just showed up the
Yeah.
pictures.
that's how you do it now.
Right. So that's what, and then now you got Google Translate,
Right.
or you got tools that can translate certain speech.
Yep.
Right, to communicate. So that's why I say now, especially if you're single, you don't have to worry about if someone wants to do it with you.
You just go.
You just go
Yeah.
on your own.
Right.
So that's why I say there's no better time to be single and travel the world if you're into that and try foods in human history than now.
But you can't travel anywhere right now.
I mean,
It's been
pre-COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID. Yeah.
Pre-COVID, you can go anywhere.
Sure.
I mean, where it's desirable and where you want to try food and go and have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Just going back to the technology portion of what you were saying, I feel like it's made life a lot easier, but I think it's also a curse as well. If you have like family dinners these days, and there's like barely any social interaction. Everyone's on their phones, and you have kids 7, 8 years old. They all have iPhones. They're just kind of glued to it all day. Even social media, I feel like. I'm going to sound like a hypocrite for saying this, but I think it's like one of the worst things to happen. Just because, you travel somewhere and people don't really enjoy the moment. They don't know how to live in the moment. They're too busy taking pictures and posting it up for likes, So I feel like there are benefits to technology, but you lose a little bit of something there.
I think the pros outweigh the cons. I mean, as you were saying before, you go an hour without your phone and you're like, what the? You feel like a lost puppy, right?
Right.
I don't want to go back to although I miss the days where we were around the dinner table, we're having a social interaction, whether with friends or family, and somebody didn't have to stop and take a damn picture or
Right.
look at their phones or text in the middle of actually having a conversation. Can you
Right.
imagine me just right now? That's why I love the podcast, because we get to actually talk to interesting people
Yep.
without interruption,
Sure.
right? Or distractions. But that all said, I would not trade this technology, what we have now, and revert back to going back on payphones, beepers, looking for quarters, right? And then having to pump another quarter after a few minutes. I have to pump another quarter, or calling someone and they don't pick up, and I'm trying to get an update, and I'm going, what's going on? And just communication with people was just so much slower. The world
Right.
was much slower without it.
It's
And
made
just
life easier for sure.
driving, just knowing that, just having
GPS.
that peace of mind that you're not going to get lost. And if you
Right.
are lost, you'll be able to figure it out with the GPS versus not having it, having to find like a stranger out in rural anywhere, some weirdo, and
Then
go,
you gotta
hey,
get a map.
and get a map and then figure it out.
I don't even know how to read a map. Like
I don't either.
Really.
I mean, it's been a while, so you know.
Maybe I'm just too old. I don't know.
It's been a while.
Yeah, so I wouldn't trade it, and I also like that I have access to other people's profiles. For example, you do your food blogging there, right?
Yep.
So if I ran into you because Norm followed you, and I ran into your stuff, and Norm's like, "Hey, Will, check this guy out," and I see, I'm like, "Ooh, that dish looks delicious. That is a fantastic picture. I want to eat that." Oh, he is in New York. Oh, this restaurant is here, or maybe I'm going to Cali. Oh, this is a good spot. So now I get to have your experience. You're sharing that with me indirectly, but you're sharing that with me. So I know this spot looks good because I could see the food just through the pictures. I'm like, ooh, and if I wanted to go a step further, I could look up reviews on it.
Sure.
And if that confirms everything that I see and just passes the eye test, I'm going, yeah, I get to set up all these places that I want to go to, so I could have, certain checkpoints that I want to try out. Versus before, your world was a lot more narrow.
Right.
You would just go in there and kind of take a shot in the dark. Well, let's go to this neighborhood. I hear there's something there. And then, you just kind of
let's
dive
go into
in.
that shady joint that with the dim lights and try that out, or go into the electronic store, go away in the back.
Right.
Although
Maybe
it
this
is,
place is
although
nice.
it does make it a bit more adventurous.
Yeah.
We'll add that. Pros and cons, but I think the pros outweigh the cons.
You make some good points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do miss the social interactions. I do miss having that. It's just, it was real special.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, people are so out of touch these days. You have like you go on a date or you have a dinner with a friend, and half the time they're looking at their phones, and instead they should be really enjoying the meal and talking to each other. There's something a little bit lost there. But yes, I do agree with that. I mean,
That is so rude.
I do it all the
Can I
time.
just say
have
that?
To, I have to stop doing it. I
That
do it
is
all the
so-
time.
Oh, you're talking about yourself.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
I thought you were talking
He's
about
like,
other
damn
people.
it, you go on a date and you're
Yeah.
looking at your phone. I do it all the time. Like,
my friends, when I have dinner with them, they
Yeah.
always give me shit about it. Like,
Oh.
stop
it's
going on
so
your
rude.
Yeah.
It's
I can't
so
help.
rude.
With Instagram, it's. I was gonna take a break before
That's
you guys.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm trying to reach out to you. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're not responding to me. Oh shit, we have a podcast scheduled this weekend.
I was gonna. Sorry about that. I was gonna take a break because, what was happening is, and still happening is, every 15 minutes I would just look at my phone nonstop. It's checking on anything new, any likes, and that's no way to live. I feel like it really took over my life.
Because you worked hard to get your following.
Yeah,
It took
yeah.
you 5 years to get
And
the
I
amount
enjoy
of
it,
following
yeah.
that you have. So I could kind of get, it's giving you that gratification, that
Sure.
social acceptance.
It's addicting.
Yeah, that dopamine, just
Yeah,
boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, they know what they're doing. I mean, if you watch, was it Social Dilemma?
I didn't watch
On
that.
Is that on Netflix?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it. I didn't
So
watch it. but
They basically figure out the human algorithm.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And they know just based on your likes and your activities, they're able to really customize something because there's several types of your type. So they can do their algorithm. They can make an educated guess on
what you like.
what'll keep you on that platform.
Yes.
So if you watch this video here, and then when that video is done, it'll automatically pop up or suggest another one. You're gonna go, ooh,
Right.
and
Keep
it's
going and
subconsciously doing that, and you're getting this dopamine, like, ooh, you're getting locked in. Before you know it, an hour or 2 hours of your life is gone by, and you're like, and and you know what's fucked up? I finished watching Social Dilemma, and this is how good it is. That I'm aware of this stuff, and I caught myself on social media unintentionally, and I'm busy as fuck for a whole hour. And then I could not believe it. When I looked at it, it was like 9 o'clock and it was 10 o'clock. I was like, wait, did an hour really pass? What in the world? What is this black magic? Like, how did they do that to me? Like, I'm aware of this. And I never stay on my phone like that. But I don't know. Somehow they were able to figure me out.
Right.
They were just able to, they
kept
found my
pushing
code.
the right videos, the right
I
content.
couldn't stop. I
Yeah.
couldn't stop. And I'm aware of it. And I couldn't stop.
That's like every day for me. It's like go on my phone, and before you know it, 3 hours have passed.
But isn't that like having that awareness, and at that point where it's like, okay, I'm constantly thinking, oh, this might not be good for me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't have that kind of inner awareness that like, okay, this is might not be, you know, the greatest thing, and take that moment to stop. But you know, everyone, you know, you did for a second, and then it's
I did for a long time.
yeah.
I did for a long time. And it's just, I just got caught in that moment of weakness, you know, or whatever it was. They just found, or their algorithm might have been updated. I don't know. They
do change it every now
we're
and
going to get you, buddy.
Yeah.
And they figured it out. Whatever change they made, it locked me in for a full hour. And I'm not, you know, my personality. I am not one to give anything an hour unless it's meaningful.
Yeah.
Right.
I set up a reminder on my Instagram account. There's an option where if you spend X amount of time on it, it'll remind you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I use that, and you know, the first time I set it up for 2 hours, I kept hitting that every day, and I was like, okay, let me increase the time 3 hours, and I'm still hitting that every day. So I mean, my goal is like just to reduce that time to maybe an hour to a day. It's not healthy to spend that much time.
I think there's
on it.
apps that can block out a specific
Oh, I don't
app.
want to do that. just in case I need a
Like basically put parental
on yourself.
yeah some-
Parental lock yourself. Wow.
yeah. I mean, if it's that bad, I mean, it is bad how addicting it is. It really is. I mean, if you're in front of people, your friends, family, and then you can't stop, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Go for a walk outside. Go to a restaurant. You see it everywhere. People
Ah.
aren't even looking at where they're walking. They're on their phones the entire time.
Yeah.
It's a big problem.
I mean, it happens all the time. I'm having a conversation with someone and they're just, yeah, and I'm like, what is this person doing? I'm looking like, really? You just liking shit? Like, and they going through it fast. You know, it makes me feel like I'm slow, and I have to share this with the world. When I see other
That is
people
true, yeah.
on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, Reddit, whatever they're on, I mean, they are fast. Like, text. They're multitasking. They're flipping in and out, and they're so fast. If I was to record them from behind, you would think it's fast forward for a person like me. When I consume social media, it's a lot slower. Like I'm analyzing. I'm locked in. I'm looking. I'm not just on board next, boom, 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 text. Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah.
You keeping the finger on the screen and then scrolling slowly.
Sometimes
I
if
do
it's,
that,
I mean, yeah. But when I see, I guess the younger kids doing it, the teenagers,
Oh, yeah. They're quick.
they're wizards, man. They're so. I'm going. Is their computer faster than mine? Like in their
Yeah,
heads?
the processing speed. Like
Yeah.
they have-
I mean, they grew up on it, so
Right. I'm like, damn. I felt like an old man
yeah.
watching them compared to me.
Yeah, we have a Pentium and they have like some sort of like.
But
fast
here's the
chip.
difference. Here's the difference. It's as soon as you have a conversation with one of them, it's like, you know,
yeah,
it's really like talking to a wall.
right.
Different programming.
They give
Yeah.
close-ended answers.
Mhm.
They just don't know how to keep it going. For the most part, not all of them, but people that are like that usually have a really challenging time articulating themselves. Not because they don't want to. It's because they're just not used to it.
They don't.
It makes them uncomfortable.
They don't always have a chance to develop their personalities as well.
Yeah.
They spend all that time on their phones or whatever.
Right.
You know, and when you lose that human interaction, you lose a little bit of that. You never fully grow, I feel like.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's why I'm grateful that I kind of lived in both eras. I lived in a very analog era,
Sure.
and now we are where we are, and it's there's no going back to that old world, no matter how much we want it, unless you want to disconnect yourself fully, and
Right.
that's not happening.
Right.
Right? It's only going to, I think, get worse.
Yeah. I mean, we're so reliant on technology. I don't see it ever going away.
Just wait till the sex robots come.
Don't they exist in Japan already?
I think so, yeah, and some are. But wait till it gets mainstream is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know how people have sex toys or whatever? I think when it's not taboo in cultural societies anymore, where I think VR is going to have a lot to play with. And there's too much money. It's too lucrative of an industry, the porn industry, to not tap into that market. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's
There's a-
also addicting, right?
Yeah.
So
There's demand for it.
So imagine, like, either a sex doll or virtual reality will give you like just an amazing experience. Customize it just the way you like it, and you don't have to put in the effort of going on a date, of risking yourselves being rejected or getting weird or having to commit to anything.
Yep.
It's just low hanging fruit all around. You're just like, oh, look at this hot girl. Yeah, I'll pick you today. Let me put on my VR headset and go into the matrix real quick,
Yep.
and then
You get everything you want.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen within our lifetime.
I can see that.
Yeah, but before that, I think they're gonna have like physical sex robots that's going to look and feel like a human being. And I would even venture to say,
I'm pretty sure they have that now, right?
It's
It's
very
no.
rudimentary, I feel like.
yeah, I'm not gonna mistake.
You're talking about like an actual
You're not
AI.
you're not gonna mistaken it for a human. I'm going to say within our lifetime, I believe that they will be able to get AI to the point in where you can't even tell if it's human or robot.
That's so
The
crazy.
design
Yeah.
of it, and the speech. Like right now, when you talk to Siri, Google, Alexa, right, any of those smart machines, right, you can tell. It's like you can tell it's
The cadence is very rudimentary answers.
it's going to sound like a normal person, like us talking. That's one. Two, I think they're going to be able to have robots. I think instead of having a Google Home or Alexa being just a speaker,
Sexbot 1.0.
I'm not talking about like sex bots, but I'm just talking about just like an assistant, a virtual assistant.
Right.
And then from that technology, they'll be able to extrapolate that and put it in other service industries, whether it's sex or hospitals or restaurants. They're going to automate almost everything, everything. Where humans, we're gonna be like, what do we need them for? Forget about taking jobs that are transportation or Uber or anything like that, where they have driverless vehicles. But it's going to go into supermarkets. It's going to go into several different industries.
I mean, they have drones now that deliver packages. You
Yeah.
know?
That's true.
yeah.
I grew up with like flip phones. So this is mind blowing that they have this type of technology now. Can you imagine in 20, 30 years what they're going to have?
Exactly. Technology has been increasing so rapidly. I mean, we grew up with what, VCRs, 8-tracks, right?
Yeah.
And then it was crazy because when my nephews were growing up, I was like, this is crazy. They'll never know what a VCR is. And now they were at DVD players.
Floppy disk.
Right. And then now you're looking at, like, I'm looking at my kids, I'm going, they'll never know what any of that stuff is.
It's a relic.
It's a
Yeah.
relic. Exactly. All they'll know is what's in the cloud.
Right.
They're just like, it's supposed to go on my phone, save it somewhere. What do you mean? Stop being weird. Like, you know, like I want this now. I want to watch this now. Boom, put it up on screen.
You have to
Right.
insert something?
You have to open a
What?
box. What are you? What are you talking
Now
about?
everything you can just airdrop everything. I feel like.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. I've
yeah,
never
it's
used that, but that
It's
seems
fast.
like very cool technology.
Yeah.
It's like transfer.
That's because he's Team Droid.
Yeah. I'm
Android.
Team
Oh,
Droid.
are you?
I'm
Oh.
Team Droid. Yeah.
I feel like Apple's gonna take over everything.
I think between Apple, I think Tesla.
Tesla, yes.
People think Tesla's a car company.
Mm-mm.
It is not.
Way more than that.
I would say this. This is the way I look at it. Like Amazon, when it started, it was a competitor to Barnes and Nobles, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a
It was-
bookstore,
it
online
was-
bookstore.
It was an online bookstore. And now no one looks at Amazon like an online bookstore.
It's a monster.
And they have over 1 million employees worldwide.
Wow.
1 million jobs created.
I've got mixed feelings about Amazon. I feel like they've pushed out so many industries like retail and small businesses. It's really, it's hurt the local business owners, tremendously.
True, but if people really cared that much, they wouldn't shop at Amazon
It's convenient. It's cheap.
and they would shop at their local mom and pop. The truth
Sure.
is, you just can't compete with the prices. You can't compete with the selection, and you can't compete with the transit time.
And the ease of use. You just click on something and it's there. You don't have
That's
to travel anywhere.
That's it. But just as transit time, you get 2-day delivery, whereas before you
Yeah.
have to wait so long.
Right. Yeah.
And you would have to pay for it too. It wouldn't even be free,
Right.
right? If you did want to reduce it to compete with 2 days, you have to pay an extra $20. So I mean, I get it. It sucks for the mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
But one thing that's for sure, it's change, and
Mhm.
you always have to adapt and move with the future. You have
Sure.
to come up with something that's better and provides a better service. Otherwise, you're going to be obsolete.
Amazon really has a hand in everything. I mean,
Everything.
literally everything. I mean, they have, aside from having a online presence, they have some kind of pharmacy being set up. They have their own delivery service. They have their own streaming platform. I think they're going to take over everything in the future.
Right.
You know,
They're getting in.
they're probably going to have their own military in the future.
The private
I mean, they have the
contractors-
money for it.
Yeah, they have private. They can hire mercenaries. and
Exactly.
Private
There you go.
contractors. That's crazy.
Hey,
It's hard to imagine if the government comes and says, "Okay, you guys got to break up," and then they say, "No, we don't. We're our own government." That would
Exactly.
be crazy.
that's
That's
that'd
a-
be a great movie.
That's a Black Mirror episode. Right there, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that'll be a
Yeah.
great. Yeah, that'll be a great Black Mirror episode.
Did you hear they're not filming or streaming anything, for Black Mirror, because this year has been so crazy that it's surreal.
Right.
And like some of the episodes they've
Right.
aired
Came true.
came true.
Or
The virtual audience.
if it's not one for one, it was like the cousin of it. Like it's very
Yeah.
close.
yeah,
It's
it's
scary. Same thing with grading people, right? Writing
Oh,
reviews.
Yes, in China.
Human
yeah.
Yelp, like you
Oh,
know.
yeah,
And if you have a low review, you can't travel.
That's right.
You can't get a job.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's all based on a social network.
That was
system.
a crazy episode
Yeah.
It was.
that I saw on Black Mirror. That was crazy. And then a few months later, lo and behold, there's news reports of that happening in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah.
Absolutely mind blowing. I don't know, man. I agree. Amazon, they have their hand in, but Tesla, think about what they're tapping into, right?
There's space exploration. I mean, they're part of it. You know.
Right, but they're going to turn into a transportation company.
It's really, in my opinion,
Right.
Tesla is a tech company.
Yeah.
It's a tech company. It's
Yeah.
not just cars.
Right.
You know, they're involved in quite a few
Right.
things.
I could see them being a competitor of Uber.
Yeah.
Once
I can see that.
driverless vehicles become a thing,
Yeah.
and that becomes a norm where you don't need a human chauffeur, where the AI can just take it from there. You just go into the Tesla app or Uber, whatever, and then just go, you want your car? A car shows up, and it's just a car and no one in the front.
Mhm.
And you can sit down, and I'll bet you like the screen will probably turn into like, you could probably do some Apple CarPlay or whatever right on the screen right there.
Mhm.
And, you know, from your phone. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
And I think Tesla is one of the first people in that game. I could see the Teslas jumping right into that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Elon is a genius. He's a very smart guy, and just his background, his leadership, the amount of hours he works like 80, I think over 80 hours a week.
He's running
Like,
2 companies.
Yeah, he doesn't sleep.
SpaceX and Tesla.
I heard that he sleeps at the factory.
Yeah.
When he was getting Tesla up and running,
Mhm.
he slept in the factory,
Mhm.
and then he would wake up and just get going. You know, he just found a way to be the most lean and efficient with his time. And look at it. I mean, I think Tesla was on the brink of bankruptcy.
Yes. Yeah.
And then
not
many
too long
times-
ago.
it is-
Many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually really pissed at myself. When Tesla stock was like $20-$30, I was looking at it. I was like, man, this is really risky. I don't know. I was thinking if I've just put in a little bit in there, and then now I'm looking at it. I was like, geez, why didn't I put a little bit in there?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, you never know with those smaller companies when they first begin how far they can go. So it's a little risky sometimes.
Yeah.
Tesla just happened to sort of blow
But
up.
it's amazing that he broke the mold. And everyone he had before was like absolute at that time. Think about it. Exxon was the number one company. Exxon was the Apple. It was extremely profitable. It was like at the Fortune 100. It was like the top company.
Yep.
And to see that downfall is insane. And it was all about gas vehicles, right?
Mhm.
And now electric's the new wave. And Tesla has the largest market share when you look at electric vehicles, but there's the market share. There's so much more to be had because how many people drive gas cars? Eventually, we're gonna see all.
Vehicles.
What's going to be the relic is the gas vehicle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. It's the future, and I feel like it's very. You look at these companies, and it's very easy to fall behind. You look at Apple. Do you remember when BlackBerry was the thing?
Yes.
Back in the day, they were
Yes.
the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
The iPhone comes out, they fell behind, and you don't even hear about BlackBerry anymore.
Right.
So
I think they're trying, but
they
I mean,
Unsuccessfully.
there's no new technology.
they even
Yeah.
tried to come out with a full touchscreen phone, and
Yeah,
it
a little
didn't
late.
work. Yeah, it didn't work. They moved away from their bread and butter, which was the physical keys.
Right.
And let me tell you, BlackBerry had the best freaking keys.
Yeah. I love
to
that phone.
text. Yeah, it was just the way it felt on your thumbs when you were just shooting that email, that text. It was so awesome. It just everything with the rolling ball wheel and
it felt like a mini computer.
yeah.
Something satisfying.
Yeah, it
about
was just perfect for I guess that corporate kind of job if you need to send a lot of emails,
Yeah.
if you had a job like that or some industry. But now it's all about the big screens. I wonder what's next. I really wonder what's going to be the thing that challenges the OLED screens.
holograms
That's a way. Really? Holograms?
in the future. I
Yeah, in
think
the
so.
future. I think the next wave is probably like the screen that can bend, the bendable screens. If you-
There's a few things out for that right now. Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I
It's
think
not very
LG
good.
created some like a phone that you can bend into the shape of like just a regular like handheld phone, but
Yeah.
you could bend it into
You know
a full
what?
screen.
I will
A
say
tablet.
they're going to get it to a point where you could just roll it up like a poster. And just take it with you in your backpack. Just roll it up, put
Mhm.
it out there, and then why not? If it's like a wallpaper, if it's
Yeah.
just that paper thin, why wouldn't you be able to put some flex to it?
Mhm.
You should be able to roll it up or fold it somehow
It's an interesting idea.
and then expand it and just put it up.
But it would have to be like usable, the user friendly capability of it too. Like if it's like, I don't know if I'm cool with like just rolling something up and putting it in my my backpack. It's just foreign to me to think like I can't hold something physical and then bring it with me.
You can get used to a lot of things. So you guys asked about some things I'm working on right now, right?
Mhm.
For my account on Instagram, I've been doing a few new things, or trying to. Most of my posts in the past have just been food, right? Just straight up food. And I feel like that's like every food blog, It's just all food porn. Everyone's doing the grilled cheese pull or the split with the,
Yeah.
Damn,
impulse or
that's
whatever.
why I can't follow you guys. You're one of the only people that I actually follow.
I appreciate
Because
it.
every time I open up the app and you guys
see
make a
that.
damn post, I'm so hungry. I'm like, I wasn't hungry, but thank you.
I get hungry looking at my own
know?
pictures, So I feel like everyone's kind of doing that, and everyone's into the same stuff. All the micro influencers are doing the same things, but you don't really know the story behind that dish or that food. You don't know the history behind it or what people have put in, the work that people have put into that dish. So I thought I might go around the city to different restaurants and focus more on the person behind it, making it.
Oh, that's dope. That's a
Um,
fantastic idea.
How many stories have you heard? I made this dish, but really I learned from my grandparents, and you don't really hear that story. And when you do learn about it, it's a little bit more meaningful.
Right.
Yeah, it
you know.
touches you.
There's a lot
Well,
of
we're-
history and culture.
What we were talking about before with the street food episodes on Netflix.
Mhm.
One in particular with the backstory was this lady in Mexico.
Yep.
She got pregnant. Her husband was very low ambition, didn't care to work or anything, and she realized while she was pregnant, she said, "I don't want to take care of two babies." Essentially, she does. She knew that wasn't the life for her, so she talked to her husband and said, "I want to go back home to my town with my mom, live with my mom, and take the baby with me." Like, she was still pregnant. And then the guy understood. He was like, "All right, go ahead." She went back home, and it was very taboo in her culture and her city because it wasn't the norm to be a single mother. So when she had a baby, she tried to look for a job everywhere for a year and just couldn't get employed anywhere because of her status.
Wow.
Being a single mother, and there was some concerns about that. So she decided to open up her own restaurant, not knowing how to cook. Like something for like cooking. She knew how to cook basics, but nothing for like a wide palette of folks. So she had a lot of challenges because the surrounding restaurants threw garbage in front of her restaurants to deter her from opening, because they didn't want her, because they didn't want more competition, and that fired her up even more. Instead of that making her weak and quitting, that actually boosted her drive and said, you know what, I'm going to kill it. So she experimented with many different recipes, and she found something like a special sauce that she makes. And she opened the restaurant, gave it out to some people, and they tasted it, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And when she would serve it without the sauce, people would ask her, where's the sauce?
Right.
So then she knew that was the key to the restaurant. So she continued to make it. And as her restaurant stayed open, she was giving more and more customers her sauce, her food. She became international, and there were people from all over the world just coming to her town, her city, her restaurant, just to try her food.
I love that. I love that story. I mean, it's always nice to root for the underdog, you know?
Yeah, I think if you can capture something like that, hell yeah. I
Yeah.
would. It would be more than that, right? It was just more than just food porn.
Right.
I'll look at that and go, thank you for making me hungry, asshole. And then scrolling past for the next thing, I would go.
Right.
I would look to it. I would get the food side, but I would also get the person behind the food. I love that idea.
You don't know what kind of hardships people go through, you know, especially in the restaurant business. You have people waking up like 3 a.m. to prep everything, and they work like 12-hour days. Sometimes they don't really make too much of a profit as well. So I want to be able to tell that story, you know, share it with people.
Yeah.
Especially now with COVID.
Yeah, it's a tough time for everyone. Yeah, especially restaurants.
So
many have
these people
closed.
have some amazing stories, I think, that will help uplift a lot of people and just show the human spirit.
Yeah, I hope so too. So, you know, I'm going to see where it goes. It's a little bit more difficult to do that because someone has to agree to an interview. Whereas if I go to a restaurant, I just take a picture of the food.
Do you plan on taking videos, or is it going to be, are you just going to caption it out through photos?
So I feel like with Instagram, photos work a little bit better, or very short videos. I feel like long videos don't work very well. It's not YouTube, you know. I might do like a shorter video, 2 or 3 minutes, if it's really interesting. Videos are quite a bit of work, though, as you guys know, just the editing process. So we'll see. I'm still trying to figure it out right now. I'm trying to see who I can feature, if they'll agree to it or not.
Are you going to do this on your primary Instagram account?
Yeah, the food
NYC
blog.
food blog? Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm looking
So,
forward to that.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
You know, we do know a couple. I mean, if you're looking to do in Chinatown, I mean, we do know a spot that's been open for how many years, Norm? 70, 80 years?
The dim sum restaurant?
No, the one right on Pell, where we ate last time.
Oh, yeah. It's been there for 1930s. That's
Yeah.
What is it called?
We'll get you the details.
Okay.
Know the owners. And
I think it's the cafe.
And yeah, they shot. There's a lot of movies have been shot there. And,
Okay.
and if you go in there, it's like walking through a time machine, because nothing has changed. So when you go on the inside,
That's awesome.
It looks like 1930s style. You got the metal bar stools and the way everything's set up. The decor has never been changed. They kept it old school, just the way it was when they bought the restaurant, and it's been passed down for generations.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, send me
yeah.
the details. I'll look
Yeah.
into it.
Well, it's
Sounds
right
good.
downstairs. So yeah, we'll
Oh.
send it to you afterwards. I
Okay.
think that might be a good jumping point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's awesome. What else you got?
I might feature like food bloggers or standouts. You know, I have a few people in mind who are really like they're involved in the food industry, but they're trying to help other people.
Are food bloggers competitive with one another? Are there like any haterade going around? Like, hey, why you eating at the restaurant? I was there first.
Oh,
Kinda
not at
like,
all.
Why you taking pictures of that? Why you copying the same cheese pull? I did that.
No, it's not like that.
They're like that. They're not. They're
It's
just
not,
like
it's not that dramatic.
It's a happy community.
Yeah, it's a little cliquey sometimes, but
Okay.
you know, people tend to stick together. But no, there's no hatred against each other. Everyone's pretty pretty friendly. So
I also think like it's everyone has their own niche. Like your
Yep.
focus is like, okay, I want to focus on the nitty gritty, like the immigrant experience of
Yeah.
food culture, and then other people might focus on like, yeah, I just want the best looking, cheese pull, or like,
Right.
But I think like, it's great that you're focused on like the immigrant experience also.
yeah, that's what defines New York City, right?
Now, can you make a living off doing this?
I personally can. I don't really care to, but food blogging on Instagram is very difficult to make a living off of.
Like Mikey Chen, is he like
He's probably making a decent living, but he has a huge following, so it depends on your size. For my blog, no, you definitely can. It's possible. There's bloggers at 30.
What's huge? Like you need 1 million? Like what's considered huge following in the food world?
A decent following would be 60 to 70K.
Okay.
There's people at 30 or 40K who don't really make much money at all. And within the food industry, it's all about connections. So I believe brands pay the most.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a mom and pop shop and you charge whatever $100 for a visit, that's gonna hurt their business for the day. But if you go to a brand like a Pepsi or Coca-Cola, that's a drop in a
bucket.
that's nothing.
Yeah.
So they tend to pay the most, but you have to sort of get involved with a few different platforms that sort of set you up with that. I haven't really looked into it myself,
Okay.
but I believe that's the way to go, and just continuously growing your following. There's also these companies, they pay for your engagement rate too. It's not how big your blog is as well. So it's based off how many likes or comments you get. What a lot of food bloggers on Instagram do is they have all these groups set up with nothing but food bloggers all together. And then when they have a new post, they'll message everyone and say, hey, I have a new post up. And everyone will comment on that. So the engagement rate is sort of falsified a little bit.
Right.
They jump it up. So
because they're like a group.
Right.
saying
So
like
brands are
that.
paying for this, but it's not a true representation of how
You
many.
know what? I find. How do you feel about that? With all the fake or the little, buying likes, buying comments. Can you buy comments? I know you can buy likes and you can buy followers, but can you buy comments?
There's a huge industry. Like you
Buying
buy
comments?
likes, comments, anything like views.
But how would they know how to comment appropriately? What are they gonna go? Hey, what's up, dope page? Like, are they gonna be specific? Because you could tell if you got a whole bunch of what's up, dope page, man. You can tell it's a
bot.
generic. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's BS.
Yeah.
Versus, oh my gosh, I love this little spot. I've been here. Da da da. Yeah, da da. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's-
There is an industry. I mean,
Yeah.
like you can buy quality.
But what's the
comments.
point of buying comment? Oh, you could buy quality comments.
Yeah, you can reach out to like and there's different tiers of pricing, right? I think so.
Mhm.
You could buy those very generic comments, or you could buy actually comments from real people.
So I guess the benefit from that would be these advertisers won't be able to discern that you're cheating, and they can go, oh,
They
this
don't
guy-
even look into the fake comments, to be honest. They don't really look at that. It's just a number.
oh,
that's
that's a big scam.
Yeah.
But I think I don't even know if people like buy it for the advertisers. So I should probably pull back on that. Probably buying it for social proof.
From what I've seen, there's a lot of automation, but I don't fully understand it. But there is back in the day, at least, Instagram has really cracked down on this. But back in the day, you would pay a monthly fee to a website program. They would sort of, use your account and automatically automatically comment, automatically follow, then unfollow someone once they followed you. They
Well, I
would-
think they still have that. One
They
of my
still have
friends,
it, but
yeah,
it's
one of my friends from
restricted.
Cali told me he did that
yeah,
to get his brand up.
yeah,
He did exactly what you said.
right.
And it'll follow, unfollow, and then comment, like, and all this.
It still exists, but Instagram has limit the number of likes you can do per hour, the number of people you can follow per hour. So it's the capability has reduced a little bit. It's not as effective.
Do you
back then.
think people
Mhm.
follow would be more likely to follow you? Let's say if you had 100,000 followers versus 100, but you're posting the exact same content,
Yeah, the bigger file it matters.
right? For
You
that
know.
social proof. Right?
Yeah, it shows that you've been around for a while.
I seen it work for this particular YouTuber. I'm not gonna call him out. I know him.
Mm-hmm.
So when he started, I think he started out with everyone else, like not that much. It was very little. Then all of a sudden, it got 5,000, 10,000, 20,000,
Wow.
all within like maybe a week or so. And I was just like, damn. I believed that at first. But then when you see the like and comment ratio not match the views, the activity, the engagement, then you kind of go, come on, dog. Like, you know.
I've seen it on IG, someone, they have millions of followers, but there's 3 comments. You know, that's telling.
Check this out.
I know that's extreme.
Like, I'm like, dog, at least do it slowly, man. Like, just, you know,
Don't make it
slow.
as obvious.
This guy, he did it really aggressive in the beginning when no one knew him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he put on a huge marketing campaign for himself.
Okay.
And then he had these ridiculous videos lined up. And then all of a sudden, everyone thought that he had the social proof. Oh, everyone, just like Noodletown, like what you said before, like if everyone says the spot is dope, even it's or a certain restaurant, I don't want to just say Noodletown, but any restaurant is dope, even though it's not. They're serving.
You start to believe it as well.
They're serving poop, and yeah, you go, oh yeah, it's great. So it's kind of like that. I think it worked for him. He used that psychology, going, hey, look how many people follow me and like me. Look how popular I am. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, might as well follow. And then it got to the point where he grew organically, where he didn't need to rely on that anymore. He doesn't even buy likes or not. Well, I can't tell anymore because he actually has like real, unless he has that much money to be bullshitting around for social proof, but it looks legit from his IG to his YouTube. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, he figured it out, however he did it.
That's what most people do, I feel like. They get up to a certain point, and after a while, you just kind of build it organically, you know. You need people who actually like your content.
You know, but you know who was shitting bricks when, I bet those people that did that was shitting bricks when Instagram threatened, because I think Instagram knows and YouTube knows, or whoever, right? They know like these bots or fake accounts, and they were going to wipe them all out. Remember there was
The
a talk like a
purge.
year. Yeah, they were gonna. Remember
purge.
that they were gonna do that. Instagram was going to take out all these bot accounts, these fake accounts, that they know. You know, I know that they're internally they have to have a system that knows if it's something
Sure.
BS. And if they deleted all those fake accounts, and you see someone go from
Just drop.
100,000 to like 2,000,
You know they
Yeah.
bought it.
and you go, my man, you bought 98,000 followers, man.
I mean, I think that
If
it's
that
been
happens-
done. It's been done, right?
Where they purge.
They purged, yeah, like
No, did
robots, bots and
I'm
stuff
not
like
really
that
sure.
from accounts.
They probably
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
And it's not hard to find them, because if you have like a IG profile that has a bunch of followers or follows, but there's 0 posts, you know.
It's obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious.
Mm,
You know? Yeah. I've gotten that. I'm like, spam, get away from me.
Yeah, I get a lot of like little spam follow
Yeah.
requests. I mean, I got my stuff on private, right? So it's just like, I mean, I don't care about the numbers.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
Right. Because I even do have legit people that try to follow, but it just seems kind of creepy. So I'm like, nah.
Wouldn't worry about it.
Decline. Boop. You know, I just don't really care about that. Like,
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, it's nice, but it's not super important to me to get my numbers up. It's to me, I have a different psychology when it comes to that stuff.
You're talking about your personal account or your
Everything. right?
anything?
I really don't care. Like, I'm not saying I don't like it, but I don't want to fake it.
Yeah.
You know
and people
what I mean?
people can tell if you fake it.
Yeah, I just don't want. I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone else. I'm not. That's just personally me. I just think it's just too much work to fake it. I don't want
Yeah.
to buy something that's not real.
I feel like if you're passionate about something, and you're really into it and you really enjoy it, people can tell.
Right.
You know?
And then I don't want somebody to be friends with me just because they think I got 100,000 followers.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want you to be nice to me. I want you to treat me the way you feel like treating me, so I can remember. You know, and I'm like, oh, word,
Right.
I got you.
You want to stay away from people like that in
Yeah.
your life.
And
Spam.
I was like, damn. I just ignored them, but because I don't want people like that around me.
Yeah.
And that's what's good though. See, because let's just say you are famous, you can't, if you're already just faking it, you don't know who's your real friends. I think that's part of why people go crazy when they're famous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they think it's all that. Like what Jim Carrey said. He said, "I wish everybody was rich and famous so that they could understand that that's not what happiness is."
Right. I mean, you look at so many celebrities. How many have had meltdowns? Like Britney
Right.
Spears,
Mm.
Lindsay Lohan. You know,
Right.
a lot of people.
Right.
And it just goes to show you.
Dave
like,
Chappelle, right? When he had
oh,
the
he had one
Chappelle
too.
show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had the Chappelle show. It was extremely lucrative. I think he was getting like 20 million a year. I mean, that was a dream for a comedian to have your own show and to get paid like that.
Yeah,
And to
they
be
were offering a lot of money for a new season.
right, to be at the top of the game. And he was just like, I don't want to mess with this anymore. And
Yeah.
for whatever reason, he left. And when he went to Africa to try to, just find a peace of mind or just to get grounded again,
Oh wow,
just find himself.
I respect that.
He walked away from it, and people said he was crazy. People were shitting on him, from the media to people that his friends, and then he made his comeback recently with the Netflix.
It sounds like he wasn't happy at the time.
Yeah, so I totally get it.
Yeah.
So I don't mind. Like for me, the goal is not to be rich and famous. It's just to enjoy and learn and meet people and inspire. Because the more people I meet, I get a window into something that I've never had an opportunity to before. You went a completely separate path.
Mm-hmm.
And most of those, people that went those separate paths, I find it interesting.
Yeah, I think it's important to do things in life that have meaning to you, that you enjoy, that you love.
Mm-hmm.
So many people work at a job that they hate, and they don't realize you're spending at least half your life doing this.
More,
Yeah.
right?
And sometimes it
Beating
pays a
themselves
little,
up.
sometimes it pays well, but at what cost? Your happiness.
Your time, your youth,
Exactly.
your energy, your happiness.
Right.
And guess what? That time that you could have used to also develop yourself and find out who you are.
Sure.
I mean, I know someone that puts in hours in the office, and he is absolutely, I mean, we all know someone like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, man, I got to get out of this. I got to get out of this.
Yep.
And he's telling me, well, I finally got an exit plan after 20 years. 20 years.
That's sad.
And he can't complete his exit plan until like another 5 if it goes well, 10 if it doesn't. So I'm listening to him and we're talking. I'm going, damn, I feel bad for you, man.
Mm.
This is, I mean, he makes a lot of money, but he is not healthy. He is depressed, mentally not healthy, physically not healthy.
Right.
He hasn't made any new friends
Mm-hmm.
beyond his old childhood friends, and he hasn't made any real connections outside of the corporate. And in the job, in the corporate world, those connections a lot of the times, it comes with an asterisk, because you don't want to share too much with your coworkers. Everyone's very careful.
Yeah.
You can't talk about religion, you can't talk about politics, you can't do touchy stuff. You got to remain professional.
Mm-hmm.
Right, understandably so. You don't want to have like a big riff in the office over something like that. So there is some lines of separation where you can't truly know someone.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there's a space there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're social animals, and to work yourself to the bone like that, and by the time you're old and you're ready to retire, you have no energy.
Mm-mm.
No energy. You're gonna be falling asleep while you're eating your meal out over there when you're traveling, or
Plus, you look back at your life and you wonder, what have I done?
you gave it to this
It's fulfilling.
company.
Yeah, exactly. The Muay Thai gyms I train at, there's a few. One of the co-owners used to, he used to work in corporate, right? I believe someone mentioned to me he used to make like $300K. So he left that and opened up like a number of gyms. I think he was much happier doing that. He's probably making a lot less,
Mm-hmm.
but I respect people that.
And he's probably working a lot harder, becoming your own boss.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different.
Interesting enough, that person, he that co-owner, he really turned his life around. He used to be involved in gangs in
Mhm.
Chinatown. I believe he was in the same one as China Mac.
Thing. Ghost Shadow?
Yeah. He was a little bit older than him. So, he turned his life around, went corporate, and then
Mhm.
left that and pursued opening Muay Thai gyms and
Good for him.
BJJ gyms. And he's happy.
You know what? I do find it interesting that stories that I hear of a lot of gangsters able to work, like they shift. Asian gangsters in particular, they adapted and shifted with the environment where they can work these 9-to-5 jobs. I just find it interesting that
It's so different.
right, because I mean, and at the same time, like, because these people have a lot of, gangsters like that have a lot of pride.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ego. They have tempers, and they have street rules. And when you go in the corporate world, those rules are different, and they don't abide by the same respect or the same hierarchy. And a lot of times, you're coming into it, you're at the low end, you're
Sure.
at an entry level,
Right.
and no matter what level you are, you probably got a boss. If someone gave you a job interview, you're working for someone.
Right.
So
you have to answer someone.
You have to
pretty much.
answer to
Yeah.
someone, exactly. So,
So.
they were able to adapt and just kind of take it.
Yeah. I mean, good for them.
Like you said, like the guy that opened a gym. If he went from being a gangster, and during that time, I mean, those were like, that's a real hardcore gang to be around.
Mhm.
From go to that and then make $300K in a corporate world and be able to adapt into a system and then
And excel.
work his way up to the point where he goes, I mean, he didn't start at 300K. He probably
Yeah.
start entry level and worked his way up to 300 and realized this isn't for me, man. I'm getting burnt out.
Right.
And then said, I'm just going to be my own boss because that's who I'm meant to be. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible. And
Not everyone does that though. They kind of take the safe route and just do the same things their entire lives.
and the fact that people can change, right? A lot of people don't realize that people can change. You could become think about it, like just hearing, I mean, we don't have to say his name, but just hearing his story. This guy was a gang member, then he changed who he was and put on the corporate America hat, and then now he became a teacher
Mm-hmm.
of the martial arts.
Yep.
I mean, this is
Former fighter as well. He used to compete.
yeah, it's like
it's-
an incredible story.
Yeah. You can write a book out of it.
A lot of these people can. A lot of people that
Yeah.
grew up in New York can. It would be a really interesting biography.
I think it's a certain mentality that the individual has. Like, if they're focused on like that life in the gang life, and then be able to excel, it's that sort of like they have that kind of
Drive.
that drive
Mhm.
to do, and whatever industry they go into, they're able to excel.
Well, I think it's also the type of training.
Mhm.
I think the drive that you have. I think one part it is nature, but I think another part, what a lot of people forget, is the nurture, is your environment. Having that space to learn from. A lot of these skills that you get that are street smart. Not saying gang stuff, but just that you learn that you don't learn in the books. I find a lot of that, and sometimes is more transferable to the real world
Mhm.
rather than what you read in a book.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And having that street smart, I think what people mean by that a lot of the times is being able to apply it, because you could read something and understand it and pass an exam, but you won't know how to apply it.
There's so many people who are book smart, but they have zero common sense.
Yes.
I mean, society tells you to go through college, to study hard, but common sense is something you have to develop. And
It's experience.
It's experience, yeah. They pass everything. They go for their first job interview, and the employer finds out they're like a complete idiot.
Right.
So,
So
it's not
that's
the real world.
Yeah, one of my friend's brother graduated computer science, or some degree related to those arts, and it was like, I think he graduated with like a 3.9 GPA.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really high, and he couldn't find a job for a year and a half. And when he finally found a job, it didn't pay him much.
Hmm.
It was very entry level pay, and part of it is because he's a massive introvert. He falls under pressure and being able to answer any questions or having a constructive dialogue with someone while in the hot seat,
Mm-hmm.
he falls apart.
And that's vital for a lot of jobs.
But he's a smart kid. Like, he
Right.
is smart. I mean, we know so many people like that.
Yep.
They're just really smart. Like, and I know that they will excel, given the
Right.
time because they're really fast learners and they have no problem working hard, but they just can't get through a damn interview. That's it. They just can't speak to people. They clam up. It gets really awkward, and then everybody gets uncomfortable during the interview.
They don't have the social skills for it, you know, and that takes a little bit of time. It takes interacting.
Yeah,
pretty much.
that or they're low energy in
Yeah.
front of a crowd. They feel, especially a lot of introverts feel this. They feel that being around people just makes them tired
Right.
for whatever reason, right? And extroverts, when the more people are around, the more charged up they'll get.
Yeah.
So introverts, when they are around people, a lot of them can just kind of seem like they're just low effort, low energy. So when you're in front of a job interview, you're going, of course, if I'm looking at someone, I'm going, oh, this person has low energy. It looks like low effort, almost to the point where of being lazy. I'm not going to hire this guy.
Right.
Of course not. So I get it. But at the same time, that's why I think the job interview system may be kind of flawed. You know, some people could be the opposite. They could come in with great energy, hilarious, able to navigate the interview extremely well.
Yeah.
You hire them and they're
They're a dud.
a dud. They just
Yeah.
game the system. They just know how to game the system. And they're not truly creating a better atmosphere or culture in their job function, right? Versus that other person would have sacrificed way more, probably way more intelligent and cause a lot less friction within the job place, you know, or less confrontation.
It's a balance.
Yeah,
You have to be decent at both to get by.
me too. Anyway, that said, Sam, thank you for coming through, man.
Appreciate it.
We'll put all your information. I'm sure a lot of foodies out here would be super interested. They haven't heard about you. That's
Yeah.
into street food.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, even my page, I feel like people don't really know me that well. It's just all about food. So it's nice to do a podcast and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, like
thank you for having
I
me.
definitely take a look at your Instagram, and I get recommendations.
Oh, that's
off
awesome.
it.
I'm
Yeah,
happy.
Yeah,
Good,
and
good.
I do a little food tour, you know, with my girl, and I'm
Uh-huh.
like, where can I eat today? You know,
Message me
we're in
anytime.
Brooklyn. Yeah,
Yeah, you're unintentionally touching people, man.
Good,
this is
good,
why
good.
this is what I love about social media. I mean, there are pros and cons, but tying it back, I mean, those are the beautiful things. Anyway, Sam, thank you for coming through.
Thanks, guys.
This is Lucky Boys.
Yeah, we're out.